there's also a little active arrow over here. Good morning, guys. We're Mount Rushmore still, of course. Super nice area, and we have some snow. It doesn't seem to stick to the ground though, but it's kind of nice. So we're rolling out here away from Mount Rushmore in South Dakota, and we're on our way to a place called Sioux Falls, and that's like another major city, 5 or 6 hours away from here, heading to Iowa and Minnesota. And we're not really on a really set plan yet for all that stuff, what we're going to do. We just only set points on the horizon are going to Detroit and meeting our buddies over there, Corey and Justin and those guys, and hit up Seems Legit Garage, Mike Dodge, and all those fine gentlemen. So we're just driving around. It's really cold. It's 34 degrees. Well, it's not really cold, but it's a lot colder than where we came from. I hope you guys like the content. It's a really nice journey this way, and it's such a great car to do all this stuff. And as you can see, I have all my stuff with me. The rear wheels don't have tires on them right now, so that's a little bit more space in the car. And I'm on the Ironman front tires. I made a little mistake with them, ordering them, because I ordered 225 45s instead of 225 40s. So they're a little too tall for the fitment of this car, but so far it seems to go really well. They're not rubbing anything. They're rubbing the inner fender at the front bumper a little bit, but they're really comfortable. It's really nice, and I knew that we were going to end up with like icy, snowy conditions, so I didn't want to run the semi-slicks. And also these Felinos are brand new, so they're supposed to be like my steer tires for the entirety of Drift Week. So saving them up for Drift Week and using the road car tires up front to get there. So far we're on like 5 states, but we're gonna total in like a lot. Like when we the more closer we get to the East Coast, the more states we're going to be crossing. So we're going to probably end up crossing like somewhere between 18 and 20 states in this entire journey, which is crazy. And it's great that you guys are coming along, and thank you so much for your support. So after about 6 states, now all of a sudden Brian thinks it's sketchy that his hood is coming up all the time.
Well, now that we're going 100 miles an hour.
We were doing fucking beep miles an hour all the time. I think we did beep miles an hour coming down Mount Rushmore. What do we? So what's the problem here? I think this thing is catching.
Clips in. I believe it goes far enough. This one goes far enough. That one seems to clip in. This one doesn't.
That one never clips in.
It's kind of tight right now. Don't know how many threads.
Oh, that's too much. Maybe space the whole thing out. Expertly putting some washes in between. Really good, so we can get a little bit more engagement out of that thing. The great thing is the radiator stopped leaking after our expert fix with the stuff that we threw in.
You want to see Wout's favorite tool?
No, I hate that fucking tool.
I'm telling him to use the 17 and he wants us to use this, so we're
No,
going to
it's
use
the other
this.
way around. It's a lie. This is like a plumber's tool. Like you throw that away. Like that tool, that fucking adjustable wrench, that's for people. If people see like a 15 grand Snap-on card, they're like, you don't need all that. I have this adjustable wrench. You don't need all those separate wrenches. Like that's people who use that thing. That's what they say. So no, it's like ridiculous. Like you can't have enough wrenches. I think that's actually tight enough.
Yes.
Well, let's have some proof of concept here. It's gonna shut like shut like new. Wow.
Let's see if it works.
We can take it to America's most beautiful roadster hot rod show now. Oh man.
One of these days I should probably clean this.
Probably. Well, we could like do it with like a pressure washer at some gas station or some shit. Like, look at my car, it's ridiculous. I don't think this car has ever been this dirty in my ownership. Like on the video, it's like not even showing that much, I guess, but look at that. I think that's all the salt that they put on the roads at like Mount Rushmore and stuff. Like, it's really, really dirty. It is kind of cool to leave all the dirt on until we're in New York. What do you guys think? Should I clean it in between? Yeah, well, listen who's talking. Like, on this guy on Drift Week 2 didn't clean the whole car, the whole fucking Drift Week 2, when LZ and Hurt and me were like constantly cleaning our car. Everyone was making fun of us. Yeah, it's kind of cool to have like all the dirt from all the states on the car. You guys decide. Like, I hate dirty cars. If you know me a little bit, my cars are always clean. But this is, yeah, it's kind of cool to have all the stuff on it from the whole journey. You're not stealing my 17, right? Because you have your cool...
You mean your adjustable wrench?
No, not
this
my...
This is my 17. That's your adjustable wrench.
No, that's your tool chest. It's your adjustable wrench. Because it's for plumbers. Look at how... Oh, you got wobble sockets?
Yeah, I bought them.
I love them. Can I have my 17 back, or what the hell? No, you're stealing. It's getting. This is theft. I'm calling the police. Well, all right. Let's get going again. Lost enough time with that hood job already. This is what keeps happening. Guys, clown shoe hood keeps coming up, keeps unlatching that one side. So it's a little active arrow over here. Really great. Let's see if we can fix it any other way. So we've cleaned all this stuff, works perfectly fine. Little cigar cutters, I like to call them. I think this stuff just doesn't engage deep enough because the core support is kind of deformed from all kinds of crashes and stuff. So we're gonna space that out a little bit more. We've already been spacing it out. Here, space it out a little bit further because it's super sketchy.
And you just follow the sidewalks around however you want after that, and then you'll come back the way you went out. Take
Great.
all the photos you want.
There's only about 3 of those left in the world, kind of another example of all the various cars made in America. To the right is a little freeway car made in Minnesota, for you folks from Minnesota.
Cool, General Lee.
You might get a kick out of
As a kid, I really hated that the interior was brown. I was like, what the fuck? Why don't they make it like black or something?
kind of
They're really cool cars, like them, all of them, but they don't drive really well, I guess. Various, what they call a tree Chevy, so 55, 56, 57, convertible, 52. Oh, this car, I've seen this in a hot rod magazine 100 years ago. That's really crazy. I think it's some kind of Cadillac or something. It's supposed to be. Yeah, it's actually two Cadillac motors. I've seen this thing in a hot rod magazine in, I think, 93 or 94 or something, like a really long time ago. There's a whole story about it. This is crazy. Like, I read that magazine a million times because it was like just a feature in some hot rod magazine. Crazy to see it right now. Of course, Smokey and the Bandit, Trans Am. Literally watched that movie a million times with my brother. Like, this is the early one from Smokey and the Bandit 1, like 77. I think the other one is the 81 that they had later. And you can tell that the 81 has like separate headlights and separate little sockets, and 77 has them in one area. So really cool. Nice. Some dirt track cars over there. That's the Richard Petty car. That's really cool. Wow. Oh, that's nice. A Super Bird. Crazy. These things have the super tall spoiler, so the trunk could still open, because I think that was like a requirement back then, that you could still open the trunk. And these things, there's a couple of them, like all the big manufacturers made cars like this, and they were actually the first race cars to go over 200 miles an hour, even before Formula One or whatever. Really cool stuff. This is 70. Here's the RT10 original Viper. Richard has got a couple of those things. He's got a yellow one that we want to turn into a drift car, so it'll be really cool. Challenger, I'm not sure which he is. Should be a 70 or a 71, I guess. What's this? This is a 70. Like, you can tell, like, the front end and the taillights are a little bit different. I really like this as a kid because they're a little bit smaller than like the Charger. So this is like a little more sporty, I guess, than the Charger. But now I turned into a total GM guy, so not much Chrysler love over there left. It's also difficult to get all the parts and stuff in Europe, so I think they're really cool. It's just not my kind of car. That's like also really cool over here. GTO, love that car. I like the 67s better. This is 64, still really cool. GT500, this is a original one, probably. It looks like it. 68, really nice. There's a whole like little town over here. Wishing well. Wish Brian's hood would stay shut. It's kind of cool. Oh, there's another barn. This is a kind of cool place. Pretty nice. Oh, this is nice. The trucks. Bronco. Oh, the Little Red Express. There was this whole thing about this car. So in the year that these came out, there were like so many restrictions on emissions that this was like the fastest car you could get, because the trucks were exempt from emissions. So this was like way faster than like the Camaros and stuff from that same year. So that's why these are kind of like well known. At least I think that was the story was. Whoa, this is really old stuff. 1924 T model, used in Sioux Falls. It's got a wooden cab, pretty cool. And there's some more Fords. Model A over there. Oh, one with tracks on it. Like, this is really cool. Some Jeeps. This is a Ford. You can always tell from the grills, like the F-Series. So there's an F100, there's an F-150, and there's all these Ford F-Series. Really cool. I like them a lot. Never had one. Like I said, I'm more of a GM guy. Here's a Dodge that's roughly the same era. You can tell they look kind of look the same. It's a nice wrecker. Ooh, this looks really nice. What's this? A Hudson, some really weird pickup. Cool stuff. It's a motorhome from the 20s, I guess. So it's like your average RV from the 20s. Kind of cool. Nice stuff. Chevelle, Camaro 68, and also some really weird old computers over here. That's kind of fun. The Macintosh. This is weird looking sliding door, Brian. It's kind of like a Z1, but it goes the other way. It's pretty cool. Some kind of collection. Oh, it's like car show trophies. What's this thing? 31 Packard. It's in its own little display. It's a really cool museum. It's also a little bit creepy though. Antique lights. Another section is over there, I guess. Oh, we gotta hit up Harrison. What's up, Harrison? RX-7, a rocket engine. And this is like a really cool collection. Little weird little cars. Never really cared about that stuff much, but I guess it's nice and rare. That's so weird. Oh man. This was in a movie I saw as a kid. They're really weird cars. It does have a V8 though. Those doors are really cool. Is there something up here?
There's some Fords, I think.
You can check it out. Some more old Fords. T-Bird in the back. Mustang. A Cat. A whole bunch of trucks and Jeeps and Jeep kind of things going on over here. Such a interesting collection. Willys Jeep 1946. That is really cool. Look at that. Here's another one. Man. Some kind of early Airstream. Tractors. Bunch of Corvairs over there. AMC Javelin with a weird front fender shape. Edsel, another Edsel. There's another barn over here. Nostalgia cars. Let's have a look. Wow, 54 C1 Corvette. VW thing, kind of cool. I think that's like a reminiscent of like the Nazi Kübelwagen, which is some kind of like easy to go troop transport kind of thing, like the German Nazi Jeep. Lots of Mustangs over here. This guy is a big Ford guy for sure. That's nice, Mach 1, that's my favorite shape. I want to get one of these. Tommy Harrington, if you're watching this, find me one of these. These are cool. Cougar, look, the Mach 1 is so cool. Wow, I love that car. Ford, Mercury. AMX. This is really, really rare. AMX. It's like one of those American companies that went down. Cool stuff. A bunch of these things. Look at all the insane hood scopes and stuff. Really cool. There's a familiar car for Europeans, Citroën DS, or Citroën as it's actually called. And the DS is French for DS, which is D-E-E-S-S-E, which is the French word for goddess. So it's kind of like a wordplay. And the funny thing is there was also a cheaper version of the DS, which was called the ID. So the letter I and the letter D, which of course spells idea. So I always say, like, if you couldn't afford the DS, if you couldn't afford the goddess, at least you could buy like the idea of having a goddess. So pretty cool. Not my kind of car. I've driven it a couple times for one of my friends who had one, rented one for a wedding. I drove him around in that thing, and it's like the brakes and all that stuff is really weird because it works completely different, and it's like wider in the front than in the back. It's not really my kind of car. It's definitely groundbreaking automotive history over there. A Mustang from the less popular years. And is this some kind of hovercraft? That is so weird. Oh my god, that's a weird thing over there. Frazier, that's a big car, man. Old motel, 1920s cabin. It says $1 a night, bring your own blanket. That's definitely what I would do. Little cabin where you could stay. Kind of cool, kind of funny. That seems to be the restroom. I like all these buildings, really cool. Radio check, another jail, Brian. We're really well into the whole jail thing over here. Let's see, that's not a great jail to be in. Well, when your time is up, at least you'll die from all the fucking tetanus you're gonna get from this. Jesse James, oh, I love Jesse James stuff. Wow, that's so cool. 25,000 for Jesse James, 15,000 for Frank. Really cool. Fun stuff. That's a familiar sight. Brian and me simply booking until we're out of gas, and then getting to a gas station. So we made it to Sioux Falls. We're in some area where there's a lot of semi-truck dealerships and stuff, and there's also an O'Reilly. So we grabbed longer bolts, and we're gonna see if we can use those to space out the hood latch a little bit, so it's gonna engage better, and hope that hood stays down, because it's really sketchy to me that it's just one of the hood latches that holds the whole hood. It's a pretty fucking big hood, and if the air catches it, we don't want to be looking for a Z3 windscreen somewhere. So hope it's gonna work. So we fucked around with it a little bit. As you can see, the core support is like hanging down a little bit, so we had to like modify a couple things on the hood latch, and now it seems to lock. Let's hope that we finally resolved it after like 6 states. Where are we at, Brian?
Sioux Falls.
Are these the Sioux Falls?
Not sure.
So the Sioux are Native Americans that live here, and these falls looks really cool. There's some cautionary things over here that we shouldn't do. Don't fall off the stairs. Don't never pet your kid. Don't swim in the water, and don't stand up in the water with your arms in the spread eagle stance. That's not what you want to do. Parents, guardians. So keep that in mind. Don't fall down the stairs. It's a really bad idea. Wow, it's pretty cool, huh? kind of sucks that they have that construction site and that thing in the background there, but they have everything, I guess. Sioux Falls looks kind of cool, completely different than other places we've been. It's a lot older, a lot more brick buildings, so definitely more East Coast look to it. Yeah, let's grab some food, and I'm glad it looks like the clown shoe hood is fixed securely, and yeah, kind of nice. Look at that, I kind of like these buildings. It's a little more European style. It reminds me of another city, but I don't know which one exactly, but it does remind me of a city that I've been. Grabbing a little hotel here for the night. It turns out to be a really cool little city over here. Tomorrow we need to make kind of a decision, because there's not really too much on our program, except that we need to go to Detroit at one point to visit our Drift 2 buddies, but there's really not much else. But we want to take off as many states as we can, of course. So we'll see. It's about 10-hour drive to Detroit, and from Detroit it's about another 10 or 12 hours to New Jersey. So our objective is to get as many states as possible and meet up with our guys in Detroit. So if you do this stuff long enough, you travel and all that stuff, like most people in racing, they travel a lot and they'll be in hotel rooms a lot, and there's always weird stuff in hotel rooms, and everybody like cuts off their video when they get to the hotel room. So I'm not gonna, and there's always one thing weird about hotel rooms, and let's find out what it is in this hotel room. So there's some stuff like iron thing on the wall. Okay, cool. It's for your suitcase. That's not too weird. It's nice, real nice art on the wall. I live for that stuff. Keep telling people the story when I went to this really cheap motel somewhere, and they had like these Bob Ross kind of pictures, and had like two exactly the same ones left and right above each bed, which is of course weird. Coffee machine. Nobody's ever used a coffee machine at a hotel, so whatever. Everything else. Let's see if we have a nice view over here. You can actually see the clown shoes over there next to the white pickup truck. I always like that. Not a great view. Beds look really nice, look really comfy. I have this really weird thing that like when I was 14, I worked at a garage, and the owner of that garage was like in his late 50s at that time. He told me a story that he was like going on holiday for the first time, and he went to Spain with his friends, which must have been like in the late 60s, early 70s. And he was like, and when I pulled back the sheet of my hotel in Spain, somebody had put a huge turd under the sheet. And I was like 14 when I heard this story. So every time I go to a hotel now, I check under the sheet like every fucking time. Like I still think of that. So far another really weird hotel room. Let's see, we have here a bathroom. Oof, Jesus. It's like some kind of, wow. Oh, I have some stuff here, earplugs. That's nice because Brian snores. It's okay, it's kind of like low for me, low ceiling. That's nice and nice. That's kind of okay. All right, so that's the weird thing. That toilet is like a foot away from the wall. So that's what I'm saying. That's the one thing. Like, you can use this as a fucking outer zone 3 or something. Like, you can drift a car in between here. Like, why is that toilet so fucking far from the wall? So look at that. That's what I'm saying. It's always something weird. But apart from that, another nice nice crib for us to sleep. See you guys tomorrow. Don't forget to take a look at our website as well, einzel.nl. We ship worldwide, of course, Wisefab, Feal Suspension, our own brand Einzel, gearboxes, quick change differentials, axles, all kinds of things. A lot of fabrication components, of course, air jacks, subframes for quick change, you name it. Drop us an email and we'll hook you up.